Action! Okay, back to what? The ancient nature of puppeteering is that we've been making shadows on a cave wall for thousands of years, and we just accept the movement of the human hand embodied in a character. We believe it. Hi, I'm Isaiah Saxon, and I'm the writer and director of the new film, The Legend of Ochi. We're about to discuss my film here at the IndieWire headquarters in New York City for the Toolkit podcast.
This is a first feature, but you're coming from the world of music videos.
You know, the music videos and shorts were just the training ground. You know, I was just following my nose about what's fun to do with my friends. And then when it came time to make a feature film, it's like, okay, well, let's just try to do it at a bigger scale, from building a kind of shitty puppet in my bedroom to then having John Nolan Studios from London, who had just done Jurassic World and were, you know, kind enough to work on our little indie movie.
What are sort of the stages to creating an Ochi?
John Nolan's team, they are making fully detailed muscular anatomy underneath that then is getting layered over with fur in very strategic ways so that you do feel weight and mass underneath it. The Baby Ochi puppet, it's a little different. There's less musculature. It starts with a metal armature for the body. Move around just the metal armature and you can get a realistic sense of life. On top of that is a silicone skin, and even before the fur is on it, with no facial animatronic, was completely realistic and alive once the 5 puppeteers were working with it, which just speaks to like the ancient nature of puppeteering is that we've been making shadows on a cave wall for thousands of years, and we just accept the movement of the human hand embodied in a character. We believe it.
One thing that I love about the Ochi is in a film like E.T., we have one alien, but there's really this Totoro range of Ochi that we meet.
Yeah, the adult Ochi and the baby Ochi. I'm trying to show that this is a real species. You know, I hoped a kid could come to this movie and wonder if these were real animals. Was this a really undiscovered primate that they just hadn't seen the BBC Nature special on yet? Every aspect of their language and social structure and all of that, I wanted it to be grounded in real patterns that we can identify in nature. And so I become an amateur primatologist through the course of making it. I mean, filmmaking is really an excuse for nerds to like research stuff. That's a moment where you're just like, hold my beer, let me read Wikipedia. I'm doing work.
I would love to ask you about working with the puppeteering team and like brag on them a bit.
Brag on them.
How do you direct a puppet team?
John Nolan auditioned the puppeteers, and Rob Tigner, who had worked on The Labyrinth and Nicholas Rogue's The Witches and the Henson Ninja Turtles, he got the job as Baby Ochi head puppeteer, and then he got to bring his favorite team with him. Together, they create this unified performance where Rob is on the head, he's the quarterback, one person is on each limb, and then the actual animatronics designer, Carl Gallivan, he's one of the remote controlled operators, and then there's a second one. They all have to be completely synced up. Rob is the one to do that. He's verbalizing Baby Ochi's internal monologue. Whoa, what's that? Let's go sniff that. I wonder if that bug is edible. And when there's a vocalization, he's going to go, and that'll be the cue for the sound envelope of the remote controlled mouth operator. They can just show up and be an actor, and we're not all of a sudden figuring anything out. They're just performing and they're dialed in. They can share a scene with Willem Dafoe, which was their first moment on camera, actually. Baby Ochi's first moment on camera, he's going to act opposite Willem Dafoe and be as good as Willem Dafoe.
Here we are in the Romanian countryside, and we're about to film the first shot of our movie.
How did you sort of go about making this puppet look native to the environment?
We have gone to the most mythically mysterious setting that we could find in all of Europe, and we are out there, you know, in a remote village where there are horse-drawn carriages and there are people scything their fields by hand and building haystacks, and there are bears and wolves and lynx in the forest. And so capture it, play it as it is. Half of the movie, we're just shooting natural light, pointing the camera at the Carpathian Mountains. I'm only augmenting it with matte paintings in post-production, you know, in order to hit the exact tone needed. When we shot in the highest road accessible place in Romania for the high mountain stuff, it was always written and it always needed to be encased in fog, a deeply mysterious place where this long missing mother lived alone as a hermit. We got there and everything's looking incredible, but it's a perfectly sunny day and it doesn't feel right. My VFX supervisor, Grant White, took still photographs of when the fog did roll in. So then I can start compositing these elements into a matte painting that then perfectly merges with what we did shoot. The top half of the frame is fog rolling in over the hills, and the bottom half is our live action plate. As the movie kind of ramps up towards fantasy, we're portraying environments that do not exist in Romania. Then you're forced to look at like the tradition of great stagecraft. What can you do to just build a little bit and then do the rest in a painting or a backdrop? Build the ergonomics of what the set needed to be for proper access for the puppeteers. Because it's really like a holistic magic trick when you try to do these shots. You can't just show up out on a tree or out in nature or at a normal set and expect this to work ergonomically. And so we're building trapdoors in sets. We're building a little patch of moss that's tabletop height so that it's perfectly accessible. And then you have to make it all somehow feel unified. So you do a lot of painting on the live action to make it feel pretty fantastical. And you do a lot of dirtying to the stage stuff to make it feel real.
In the past couple years, there's been sort of this tendency to like run away from VFX of like, oh, we did it all practically.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, it's a marketing tool. People love to celebrate practical work, and I think we should celebrate all the practical work in this movie. The baby Ochi puppet performance and the adult Ochi animatronics performance, these are not in any way augmented with any CG enhancements like people would assume. And then, this movie has 700 VFX shots, and it's like, this is a VFX-driven movie. CG and VFX has gotten this tarnished reputation a little bit, largely because of like this kind of corporatization and over-reliance of it. But truly, it's a bespoke, tedious craft art that is like full of just passionate people, really brilliant people. At any VFX house in the world, you'll find just people so dedicated to their craft. And the problem is more at the top, that it's like big corporate studios who don't create schedules that make any sense. And there's not proper shot planning. And then there's last minute notes, and they can just keep spending for, kind of their ignorance of the process.